Hello, this video is being made to help you understand the new system we have implemented this year for entering competitions. So for you to enter your images to competitions. Instead of you emailing them to me or anyone else, you upload them directly to a website, which I'm now going to tell you about. This new system is easy to use and saves all of us a lot of time. You don't have to resize your images, but you can if you want to, because this system will do it for you, and it never makes mistakes doing so. So that's a quick win. Nor do you have to worry about naming your files. You don't have to worry about spaces, getting them in the right place, the @ symbol, what have you. This system, yet again, will do that for you. There are a couple of things you do need to take on board. You have to make sure your image is in the correct color space. So you can't use Adobe RGB, nor can you use ProPhoto. All common editing software will enable you to easily convert to the correct color space, so that's not really an issue for you. The other thing you have to pay attention to is that the files must not be larger than 10 megabytes. So if they're straight out of the camera, in a lot of cases, they will be less than 10 megabytes. But if they are larger, that can easily be sorted within photo editing software as well. Okay, I'm now going to show you a screen showing the system I'm talking about. Okay, so on my browser, if I went in and looked for PhotoEntry, which is the name of this software, I've got various options given to me here. I'm going to take you and show you the welcome screen. There are various things you can click on here that are worth exploring. Please do in your own time. One I want to particularly point out to you is the FAQ button for frequently asked questions. Each one of these has got a plus arrow alongside it. So whichever subject you're looking at, you can expand on it. So here we've got references to sizes. If I go to, let's have a look at this one here. I go there, you can see, no, that's the same one, isn't it? Color space. Yes, that's the one I want to show you. This is the color space it has to be in, your images have to be in. So just look for that within your editing software. For those of you who are long-term members, I've already set you all up as users on this system. I've given you a username, which is your first name, then your second name, and you will all have received an email from the company, from the website called PhotoEntry. Quite a few of you have already logged in. Some of you haven't. I would ask you please to do so, because obviously that email is going to be getting older and older in your inbox, and I don't want you to lose the email that you've received from PhotoEntry. You have they have set you up with a temporary password. The idea is for you to then configure your own password, ideally not one that's used elsewhere. You've used elsewhere, because that's not good. That's not good for security. Okay, so now I'm going to log myself in. You will see the bit I'm circling here. You will not see this section because none of you are set up as administrators. You will have access to this test competition, which has been set up specifically for you to practice on. You'll also have access to all of the forthcoming competitions this year, or a lot of them anyway. Now, at the moment, only one of them is open for you to put entries in. That's the first competition. In the not too distant future, we'll open up a lot more. So if you're on holiday in months in the summer, and let's say you were allowed to go on some holiday in the summer, and there's a competition that's got a deadline while you're away, you will be able to enter your entries in advance. Okay, that's enough of that one. Let's go back to the main menu. Let's go into the test competition. Okay, Now here, status of the competition is open. I've set a closing date. The system will know the class you're in, as in the league you're in. Tells you the number of entries. It tells you the target dimensions, but don't worry about that because, as I say, the software will do that for you. You do have to worry about the color profile. It won't accept images that are not in the correct color profile. And it tells me I do not have any entries in this competition. So if I click on the Add New Entry button, I've got here a title, which obviously I add, and I've got I can add up to 30 characters. Now that, whereas you previously have to put a title, then a space, then you don't have to worry about any of that. All you do is you put the title that you want to call the image. So for example, here, I'm going to say food workshop. This is purely for your own use. I'm not bothered about it myself, but if you want to put a reference in there, you can. As I say, I'm not bothered. If your image is placed, it would normally, as in by the judge, if you place it first, second, third, highly commended or commended, it would normally subsequently get published on our website. If you don't want it to be, you have the option to select do not publish. If you're happy for it to be published, you've got 4 other options. You've got publish, strip out the metadata, publish strip metadata and no copyright watermark, publish strip metadata, add copyright watermark. Now, metadata is the information inside your camera file that inside the image file that says what settings we use. So shutter speed, ISO, what aperture, various other bits and pieces like that. It also might include your name, and it might also include, depending on how you've set it up, where the picture was taken. You might not want that information to be public. So in my case, I would say strip metadata and add a copyright watermark, and I would then click that, which now remembers that for my subsequent entries. Click the Add This Entry button. Choose JPEG. And now what happens now is you will have to navigate to wherever in your computer you have stored the files that you want to upload to this competition. Now, this one's the one I want to upload. This one I've already resized. And just to show you what happens if you have already resized an image, if I click on that, then come down here to click on Open, and then click Upload Image. It's uploading it for me. It says OK. Green message saying it's OK. And it's giving me the dimensions, which are width 1111, height 1200, which is exactly the dimensions it should have. Well, if it were resizing it, in this case, it hasn't because it was already resized correctly. Maximum number of entries allowed 3. I'm going to add a new entry, and this time I'm going to make a mistake. Right, let's call this one okay, now this one I'm going to deliberately try and upload a file that's too large just to show you what happens. So I'm not worried about that bit. That is as I want it to be. Add this entry. And I'm going to click on this file here, which is too big, as you'll see in a moment. And I get an error message telling me the file is too large. I've already saved another version, which is the correct size. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to try that one instead. And this time it's actually resizing it for me, as in resizing the pixel dimensions. And there we have it, cute cat, image successfully resized from high resolution upload. If I'm not happy with my title, I can very simply change that by clicking Edit Entry. And I can call it a lovely cat instead, maybe. Let's call it a lovely cat instead. And then click on Update Entry. So we have Lovely cat. I now add new entry, and I'm going to make another deliberate mistake here. I'm going to try and upload a file that's the wrong color profile, which actually I've already played around with before. So it's called Staiths. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So try that. Choose JPEG. That one there. Click open. Click on upload image. And notice I get a red warning. It's the wrong color profile. Now, I could go into my editing software and change it, but I haven't got time to show you that here. So what I'm going to do instead is choose another image. Now this time I'm going to choose a portrait orientation image. And this is the sort of orientation that causes most problems when people are resizing. This is a full size image. So I click on the image and then I come down here, click on open, click on upload. And its height is 1200, which is exactly what I would expect. That's the limiting dimension. The width is adjusted accordingly. I've got a green message telling me it's successfully resized from a high resolution upload. There's one mistake though, it's clearly not called Staiths. So if I click on edit entry, I can change the title from Staiths to what it actually is, which is Foxton Locks, which I've already typed in previously, but update entry. Now it's called Foxton Locks. And here you have reached the limit of 3 entries in this competition. Show all my entries. Let's have a look. So I've got 3 entries here. I can change the order of these if I want. Let's say this image here, the second one to be my number 1 image. If I click on that up arrow there, I move it up. If I subsequently change my mind and want that one at the top instead, I can do that. I can make that one second. So very simply, by using the up and down arrows, I can substitute the order. So that's my most important one. That's my second most important. And that's my third most important. In reality, it's obviously not that case. But now, another thing you can do is you can click on each image and you can actually see what they look like. So you get a full screen representation of what your images look like. Just to check that they're in focus, that you've cropped them as you wanted to crop them. There's no extra bits. It's just a final check. And if there's a problem with you, you can delete it and you can re-enter it. So let's have a look at the third image. Okay, I'm happy with that as well. So what we've got here is showing you all the images like that. You are free to make changes to your entries up until the closing date of the competition. So if you come in a day before the closing date and you think, no, I could do a better job than that, you can delete your entry and come in with another one. Once the closing date has passed, obviously I will lock the entries and you won't be able to do anything about it. But anyway, I hope this has been useful to you. I'm now going to, if you have any questions, get back to myself or Nick. And as I say, I hope that's been useful to you. So that's, if I do that and that, I should stop the recording. No, it doesn't stop the recording.